I
All right,
got
it's Termine, it's
13, 10,
Johnson,
and 8.
and Eddie, you want to stop holding a side conversation while I'm trying to bring back the program here on the air? You know? Please. All right, so it's Termine.
That's a good teammate. That's a good teammate, coach.
Well, you're talking over the air. I have to explain why there's conversation taking place over the air.
That's
so,
a good teammate.
Yeah, I'll
coach.
take it from here. All right, so it's Termine.
Don't forget, it's
Johnson.
Coaches Appreciation Day, guys. Coaches Appreciation.
Okay, so we'll appreciate you.
thank
Eddie's
you.
not a coach, so
Yeah, Eddie.
we can do whatever we want to Eddie. But it's Eddie, it's Termine, and it's Ryan McDonough. And so who you showing your coaches appreciation?
Golly, I have a bunch of good coaches. Started in high school. Coach Brown, Mike Brown, John Wisnett, Greg Popovich, Brad Holland, Mike Budenholzer, Brett Brown. I mean, down the list. I was under some great coaches, so thankful for all of them and all the way back to those Albuquerque days.
How do you feel about what you guys are doing here at the Summer League?
Well, I think our guys are, they're trying to take a step here forward, and I think they put a lot of work in, trying to get Bridges more active, more aggressive, and Devontae as well. And I think Bacon's made a major step here. So we're going to need those guys. This is a big development year, a young guy year. They're going to have to take a major step, especially with, Kemba being gone and Tony Parker, Jeremy Lamb. This is a young group, and I think this is an opportunity for them to get better. And I think I've seen a lot of growth here.
Yeah, you're one of the few coaches I've seen in a long time that goes into the next season and you lose your 2 top scorers.
Yeah.
That really makes you think.
Yeah.
But also it energizes the rest of your players that they would love to be the one to replace that.
Yeah.
And do you see that mentality?
I do, Eddie. I mean, we finished strong down the stretch. We were 9-3 down the stretch, missed the playoffs by a game, and it was really the young guys with Kemba and Jeremy Lamb. That was the bulk of the group making the run. And I think those young guys felt success. They worked hard to put us in position to be there, and I think they've carried that over into the summer. Obviously, when you lose your top 2 scorers, Tony Parker and Frank Kaminsky, that's a lot of offense. But I think these guys see opportunity. But you could look at opportunity, but you got to put the work in. You got to put the time in. I think they've done that. They've felt that success down the stretch. Now they've put the work in this summer. We've got to continue that, though. It's a big development year. They're good workers, good kids, and major year for them.
Coach, when I looked at your roster and the cap sheets, and a lot of this was inherited by not only you, but by the new front office led by Mitch Kupchak, and I saw the Kemba maybe leaving and Tony Parker retiring. I said, God, how are they going to fill the point guard slot? So tell us about Terry Rozier, what you guys liked about Terry, and kind of how that all came together. Wasn't something that seemed to get a lot of traction or went on for a long time. It seemed like that all came together pretty quickly and got you guys a starting caliber point guard back in return.
Yeah, it was in a guy we necessarily were targeting all season. We didn't know what was going to happen with Kemba. Obviously we thought we were going to keep him. We were pursuing him. He had a great year. But now, it's moving forward. I think Terry fits with our young guys. He's 25 years old. He's lightly used. He's got upside. We got to grow with this kid. He's got room to improve. And in our development program, we believe he will get better. And he's going to have to generate a lot of offense for us. But he does play with the spirit. He's got a competitive spirit. He defends on both. He's a two-way guy. He's a guy that can get downhill, and it's my job to get him better. This is a guy that's going to step into a major role for us. We lost a franchise-type player, and now he's got to step into that role. But I think he's motivated. I see motivation in him. He was disappointed last year. He was coming off a great playoff series 2 years ago against Cleveland when they made that run. They were, 3-4 minutes away from making the finals. He led that group, and I think we forget that. Last year, he got lost in the shuffle for whatever reason. I was not there. But I think we have a motivated kid that's young. He's hungry. He fits with our young guys. He's going to bring a competitive spirit every night, which is what we need. It's not going to be pretty every single night. But we're going to have to do it on both ends of the floor, competing our hearts out, and I think he's a guy that can help lead us in that charge.
How surprised were you that you lost Kemba?
Yeah. I mean, I think it surprised us all. I mean, this is a kid that, he embodied everything that we want to be about. He's a guy that grew up in that city, was the heartbeat of our organization, led us coming off a career year. Until this season, he didn't have an All-NBA vote. This year, he's voted third-team All-NBA. He starts in the All-Star game, his best year of his career. He's growing, he's developing, and, obviously we wanted to keep him. It did not work out. But for me as a coach, I can't control that. I got to move forward and move this group forward. Nobody's feeling sorry for us. But I enjoyed my time with Kemba. I loved coaching him, developing him, getting the most out of him. And, he made me a better coach. So I enjoyed my season with him. and now we move forward. I mean, we can't look back anymore. Now it's about, getting this group motivated for next season.
And you gave Kemba a lot of leeway, rightly so. I mean, offensively, he really grew as a basketball player, and you have to get a lot of credit for that as well. And so, I mean, is Terry Rozier, is he that guard that maybe you can rely on, but not as heavily as you did with Kemba in that regard?
Kemba had more experience, obviously, right? He was a starting point guard that was a high usage guy, played multiple pick and rolls. We're a high level pick and roll team. We're going to open up the floor. We're going to play faster. But we opened up the floor for Kemba. Kemba had space to create, get downhill. We played 5 out a lot. And I think that's where Kemba thrived. And now I'm going to put Terry Rozier in that role. And I expect him to make plays. It's not going to be perfect. He's not the decision maker right now that Kemba has been. Kemba's had more reps at it. Terry needs more reps, and there's going to be a growth process here for him, but this offense has to be generated with him, through him. And he's going to have to produce a lot of downhill drives for us, get to the rim, because, again, we've lost 2 major downhill guys in Tony Parker and Kemba Walker. Those are 2 guys that got downhill consistently. In this league, you have to have guys that get downhill, get to the rim. And we're going to have to flip that, Terry Rozier into that. He did not do that in Boston, and I think Boston would agree that they weren't a heavy paint rim team. They shot a lot of mid-range three-point shots. Terry, we need to get downhill, create for others.
Coach, one of the guys that in the draft that people were very high on when I talked to executive and scouts around the league that I respect was P.J. Washington, the power forward out of Kentucky. I thought he took a big step this year with the shooting. Last year as a freshman at UK, he played primarily inside. This year he extended his range to the three-point line. Tell us what you guys liked about P.J. and what the thought process is going forward as it relates to the foot. I believe he's not playing here in Summer League,
right.
But when do you expect to see him back on the floor?
He's already back on the floor. And this week it's feeling better. The foot's feeling better. As he went through the draft process, he was dealing with his foot injury, and we just didn't want to push it here for Summer League. But he's a guy that fits our style, our profile. I think he plays hard. He's a physical big. I think he's a versatile big. And I think, as you said, he's extended his range. I like guys that can step out, shoot the 3 ball. We want to shoot threes. And we believe that he has that ability to step out. He reminds me of, the more I watch him on film, the more I'm reminded of David West. He reminds me of a David West type of player. Very good passer, can play in the mid-range, can play at the high post, make plays for others, a pick and pop big that has the ability to post as well. I think you can post him some. He looks very comfortable with his back to the basket. I do like those guys. We don't have a lot of back to the basket guys, but the way this league is evolving, the way teams switch now, having a guy that you could throw it in the post to is big for us. But he was the best player on the board for us at the time. We believe he's a competitor. And he's only getting better here. And I think, to your point, I think he got better from year 1 to year 2. I expect him to make a jump here in his first season with us.
Coach, really appreciate you spending a couple of minutes with us. Enjoy the rest of your summer.
Appreciate it. Thank you.